Oh, cool. All right. So we got the landing gear brake schematic here. We're gonna depict normal pressure, which can be system 4. It's gonna come through here. We're gonna stand by at our normal brake selector valve and our anti-rotation control valve. We'll get pressure through this check valve to our emergency brake accumulator. And when that is has at least 1300 psi, we'll have one full brake application. And I'll stand by at our emergency brake selector valve. With our brake supply switch in the normal position, this normal brake selector valve is going to be de-energized open, allowing system 4 pressure to pass through that. It will come down here to the 4-way selector valve and position it up as it is drawn. It'll push this shuttle valve here up to the position that it's drawn and pass to our pressure indicator and transmitter. And that's located in the cockpit underfloor area. And then for normal, it's going to be on the right side. And we'll go to our pilot metering valve. Basically, the more or less the rudder pedals, which act as the brake pedals, are depressed, more or less fluid will be metered through here. We'll come down here, stop there, and then pass through here. And Delta Note 8 tells us meter brake pressure to the right aft anti-skid manifold. And then we're going to position our fluid system selector valve up in the position that is drawn currently. And it has Delta Note 11, which tells us the valve is detented to the last pressurized position, approximately 100 to 110 psi. That pressure comes through here, and we're only going to depict one of these main metering valves because they all operate the same. And then we'll have pressure that positions that parking brake selector valve as it's drawn. So here, that pressure is going to come through both of these lines, and then on this side, it's going to come through this pressure reducer and then another pressure reducer for both of them. And it'll stand by the torque motor for the moment, and it'll push, because the pressure on this right side is less than that of on the left side, it is positioned the position that is drawn, allowing Delta Note 5, the right forward down rotate pressure, to come through our line to our parking brake selector valve. We'll pass through here and through our hydraulic fuses, which are going to cut off the line if a certain quantity of fluid passes through it. And then we'll make all 3 of these. There's really 12 pressure switches, and when all 12 are made, you'll get your brakes light, and when all 12 are unmade, you'll get no brakes light. And it'll pass through our 7-port valve to each pair of brakes. In the event we have a skid condition where the wheel has locked, our skid detectors will send a signal to the anti-skid control box, which will then send an electrical signal to these torque motors up top here to port some of this higher pressure to return, and it will allow this pressure on the right side to overcome this left pressure, cutting off the actual brake pressure. Yeah, let's see. And then when that skid is no longer detected, the torque motor will stop dumping this sorry, I depicted that wrong. I'm gonna erase this real quick. It will take when we get an a skid signal, it's gonna stop dumping it to return and send that higher pressure to the right. Whereas when we have no skid signal, it's gonna dump it back to return creating that pressure difference. That is normal brakes.